Welcome back once again to a special edition, and of course we're still giving you a special coverage of the 8th edition of Cairo Water Week that wrapped up today its activities, and the event was held under the patronage of His Excellency the Head of State President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, and brought together actually a wide range of participants, including ministers, representatives from international and regional organizations, as well as experts and stakeholders on water-related issues from around the world. And also with the presence today, His Excellency Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli attended the closing session, and he gave a very impressive speech. And with us live over the phone is His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumy, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good evening, Ambassador Bayoumy.
Good evening, how are you?
Our real pleasure to have you, sir, in special edition. Actually, in the closing session, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli gave an impressive speech and stressed the urgent need to strengthen the trans-boundary cooperation in managing water resources. What does that mean?
This is very important because since decades, Herodot said that Egypt is the gift of River Nile. Without River Nile, there will never be Egypt at all. So water is our life. Not only the cup of water which we are drinking, but the flood of water which is giving us all what we eat, all what we navigate, and many, many things. So water here is very important. But the issue became much more important because of the position of our friends in Ethiopia. They are stubborn. They do not answer to our questions. They are building a dam, and they cannot stop the water from coming to Egypt. Why? Because they do not need the water. They have rains much more than they need, and even the rains sometimes flood their country, and they cannot do anything about it. Even the dam, we do not some have anything against the dam by itself, but two things: that the dam, they were intended to build a dam of 42 meters height. Now they went up to 70 meters height, and the earth cannot resist this or support this, and we are very afraid that the dam can be destroyed by itself.
Exactly. Ambassador Bayoumy, on this point, I'm glad, it's good that you raised this point, because earlier President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, in one of his speeches, he talked about the problem of the dam and everything, and he said that water security is a no compromise issue. He asserted, and then Prime Minister Madbouli also asserted that point. Now, this problem that is going to be affected from the dam that is being built, that is the very popular issue of the dam, is not only going to affect Egypt. It's going to affect the Nile Basin countries, different, I believe, more than 15 different nations.
Exactly, and the problem here at the beginning, it was that we were worried about lack of water. Now we are worried about flooding much more water than we can have. That's why we started to open Tushka to absorb the surplus of water. That's why we are thinking about having another channel of the River Nile on the western side of the River Nile. This is a new problem for us. Not only that the lack of water is our concern, but sometimes the flood is our concern, because it will flood Sudan much more than can Sudan afford. This is a new problem also. So I think the word cooperation, we need cooperation here, and to have sort of understandable talk between the whole countries of the River Nile, and we give a good example with Tanzania, where we built the dam itself. We are not against the dams, because
of course,
after all, it would make the flood of water controlled. So negotiation, what we need, negotiation and good intention between all the concerned countries.
Right. There were talks about Congo River and projects and other, ideas, alternative ideas. Do you have, is there anything that could be built on this idea?
Yes, we need every single idea in order to make everybody satisfied. We want to make everybody make sure that we do not have contradictory positions.
Of course.
On the contrary, we all are benefiting from the River Nile. We all are benefiting from a good sort of cooperation, and then everybody can sleep happily. But this stubborn position is not something which we can deal with. All of us are against it.
Of course, and we can add to that we are a nation that has history that goes back 7,000 years ago, that was built on agriculture and the Nile River. And besides that, even though that we have that history of the Nile River, we totally respect the historical rights of other countries, even if we are the oldest country in the whole world, but we still respect the historical rights and the water agreements. Others are not.
Exactly, and really, I personally studied carefully all the details of this problem of the Ethiopia Dam. And I am quite satisfied that it wouldn't hurt us if we cooperate and talk to each other, and then we can come with good deal for everybody.
Of course. There were also, the discussions also revolved around the sustainability and climate change, and also the challenges that are facing generally the water security. But there is also the problem of sea level rising, and it's totally as an effect of climate change. How exactly dangerous is the idea of the future climate change for countries like Alexandria and coastal countries, especially not only in Egypt but worldwide? I'm talking the sea level rise, and how exactly is dangerous is the sea level rise?
God knows, because really we are not talking about something which we know 100%. All these are estimations, and we should make ourselves to all these threats. And really you are right about to be a little bit worried about what can happen with the change in the weather. But we are there, and for each of these technical problems, we of course there must be a solution from our experts.
Now it is good that discussions like that are gathering countries with knowledge. There is an exchange of knowledge concerning the water sustainability and water consumption, and of course there are, but speaking about international laws, how exactly is important for applying and restricting the international laws and sharing the water between nations and everything, because this is going to secure water for everybody?
This is a very, very important point, because here we are not inventing something which doesn't exist. We only want to apply the international law about international rivers, and we have very neighbor situation in Europe. Europe has plenty of rivers, which is there isn't one single river which is in one country. All the rivers in Europe, it is divided between several countries. So there are something about history of this. There are something about the law and the international law of how to treat the international rivers. It is in Europe. It is. I lived in Brazil, and there was also discussion like that between Brazil and Argentina about the rivers between the two countries. So we are not talking about something unique for Egypt and Ethiopia. This is something which is already organized by international law for rivers.
If you could excuse me, of course, Ambassador Bayoumy, we're going to go to take a flashback to the closing session of today's discussions of the Water Week to take a bite out of the Prime Minister Madbouly's speech. And please hold on with us, and I'll come back to you.
In the concluding ceremony of Cairo Water Week, which has become a global platform bringing together decision makers, experts, researchers and representatives of international and regional organizations from more than 50 countries from different continents to reaffirm Egypt's position as a regional hub for dialogue on water and sustainable development issues. Cairo Water Week, in its 8th edition, witnessed richness of ideas and diversity of participation that reflected an increasing global awareness on the importance of cooperation in facing water challenges in light of the changes and climate changes and increasing pressures on natural resources. Meetings of this year's week were held under the title Innovative Solutions for Climate Resilience and Water Sustainability, with high-level participation from their excellencies, ministers and ambassadors and different representatives of organizations. And this reaffirms the high position of Cairo Water Week as one of the most prominent and important global platforms and events in the field of water and sustainable development. The discussion evolved around 5 interrelated topics: climate cooperation, nature-based solutions, infrastructure sustainability. And these interrelated topics are not only theoretical titles, but a roadmap towards a more secure and sustainable water future for everyone. Cairo Water Week also...
Well, that was a quick bite from the speech given by the Prime Minister attending the closing session of the Water Week. Of course, with us still live with us over the phone is His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumy, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Ambassador Bayoumy, we're talking about... hello, Ambassador Bayoumy? Hello? Ambassador Bayoumy, are you with us? Actually, I guess we lost Ambassador Bayoumy, but actually, as we continue to be giving you special coverage of the Cairo Water Week and its importance as it's revolving around sustainability and climate change, and also to our knowledge also that the Minister of Water Resources and Irrigation, Dr. Hani Swalem, also he gave a speech earlier today, and he stressed that holding the Cairo Water Week for the 8th consecutive year here in Egypt, it reflects ongoing commitment to foster regional and international commitment and a dialogue on water issues. Of course, like I earlier said, that given the fact that Egypt is a country that is actually has a history of being the jewel of the Nile, that have its history made already, as the foundation of our history is the Nile River and agriculture. Our history started with agriculture, and that's why the Nile River to Egypt is life. It's the veins of life. That's why Egypt is very keen on holding discussions to be able to discuss means of fostering all the issues that are related to secure water shares amongst the Nile Basin countries. And also, in spite of all that, and we are history, we possess the historical rights and shares of the Nile water but at the same time we totally respect the rights of others. We do not deny other Nile Basin countries their rights, and like President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi earlier said, he talked about the issue of the River Nile, one of the topics, and that was earlier last week, and he asserted that the water security is a no-compromise issue. I guess we retrieved Ambassador Bayoumy. Ambassador Bayoumy, are you with us?
Yes, I am with you all the time.
Right. So we just played a bite out of Prime Minister Mazbouli's speech that was given in the closing sessions, and he talked about water management, and he talked about how important is securing the rights. He talked about the growing global challenges, of course, that are posing threats, like in terms of climate change, and also the population, the overpopulation. There is also those issues that you kindly mentioned in our first phone call, which is some people who do not respect the historical rights and shares of water. He raised some important issues and said that the collaboration of Nile Basin countries and other countries who care about the whole world in general and its safety, from an idealistic perception, is going to help resolve issues like that.
Yes, what makes me satisfied, and I'm not terribly worried, that we are not talking about something unique. This is not a case where it doesn't appear in many other places in the whole world, as we already mentioned. And I think that the secret word here is negotiation. If you can continue talking to all the partners and negotiate, then everybody will discover that we do not have different stance. We can cooperate, we can respect all the rights of everybody, and then everybody will go happy from this negotiation. This is my job, by the way. I negotiate. Whenever I negotiate, I win. And in order to win, you have to make others also feel winning something. It's not what we call the zero-sum game. You take everything and you don't give something to others. And here we are not quarreling with anybody. I want to tell you a secret. Don't tell anybody. That
I will.
Nabil Fahmy, our Minister of Foreign Affairs, when he was in his chair, he told me that we proposed to Ethiopia that we build the dam, like we built the dam in Tanzania of Julius Nyerere Dam. We were ready to build the dam ourselves. We are not against this, because some people on the mass media are keen to say that there are some countries against us and they are helping financing the building the dam. We are not against building the dam. We are with building the dam according to a special regulation which will give everybody their right from this water, which is our life. So we are not talking about something which doesn't exist in many other countries.
Of course, we're only talking about respecting shares of water and historical agreements, but also among the people who were keen, or among the sectors that were keen on attending this year, the 8th edition of the discussions of the Water Week, is the international organizations and international community like FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization, of course in Italy, that is located in Italy, and also the United Nations Development Program, which is UNDP, that they have a sector here in Cairo. So also international community is so much interested. So talk to us about the role of communities like UNDP and FAO.
Yes, and we have common friends which can talk to Ethiopia and to talk to Egypt. Our friends in Europe, they have all the experience we can need. And we depend on this also, that people can help all the parties to come to reason. That's why I am a little bit satisfied. I'm satisfied in this concern, and I don't see that we have serious things to quarrel about. Ethiopia is flooded with 1,600 billion cubic meters of water coming from the rain. And the problem in Ethiopia is that they have surplus of water. They don't need the water of the river Nile. They use the Blue Nile for 0.5% of their needs. This is the situation. Second, that they want this dam to generate electricity. To generate electricity, you have to pass the water from south to north. If you do not pass the water, you will not generate electricity. So all the basic realities can make you highly satisfied. So I don't see any reason to quarrel with others.
On that note, of course, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumy, former Assistant Foreign Minister, would like to thank you so much talking to us on special edition on Nile TV. Thank you so much, and you have a good evening. Stay tuned for more coming up on Nile TV for more coverages and more programs and news at the top of every hour.